Spades will be futile to bury the departed and deceased, for the dead return from damnation.
Hello and welcome back to Lost Haven Games. I'm Andy, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Hexxing, the third archetype that is playable in Abbadon, my upcoming tabletop RPG. So the Hexxing are warlocks, necromancers, blood sorcerers, dark magicians, witches, all those negative spellcaster type stereotypes that you might have. They all fit within that Hexxing archetype. They are represented by spades within the deck of cards. Spades is usually associated with death, so it felt fitting. Now, the Hexxing, like all the other archetypes in Abbadon, have 4 unique trees to them, skill trees, where they get their powers and spells and all that sort of stuff. The first skill tree for the Hexxing is the Hexes tree, which is where the archetype gets its name. And the Hexes cover sort of 2 different paths. One is poisons. They can poison enemies, they can do damage over time, they can amplify how potent the poisons are, and they can enchant their weapons to do poison damage. And the other half of the tree is what you'd more commonly expect from curses. So they can amplify the amount of damage that enemies take, they can reduce the armor of enemies, they can afflict them with conditions like fear and confusion, and at the very top of the tree, or the final skill in the tree, allows them to apply the effects of the other curses they have access to, all in one go. The next skill is the Moirai, which is the Greek for fates. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but it's fate manipulation magic. The Hexxing can manipulate the deck of cards, from being able to swap out cards that they've drawn, to checking the deck and replacing the top few cards, to even manipulating the Joker mechanics, where they can play a Joker. They don't need to pass it to the GM, they pass it to another player instead, who can then also use the Joker, and then all the repercussions land on that player and not the Hexxing. The third tree is Necromancy. Magic damage in the form of spectral claws and attacks that can drain mana. They can talk to the dead, summon ghosts, make them possess people, and the main focus, skeletons. They can summon skeletons to fight for them, to act as a bit of a buffer between them and enemies, to help their allies, and they have a whole branch of their skill tree dedicated to making those skeletons more and more powerful. Every branch in the Necromancer tree joins at the bottom into one skill, the White King, which is a very powerful summon, and it's very much like having a boss on the player party. And the final tree is the Sanguinary tree, so blood magic, blood sorcery. They inflict damage to themselves, so they can spend HP as well as mana to power these skills. They do a lot of damage, they can enchant weapons to make them cause bleed, they can drain life from enemies, they can make corpses explode, and they can also summon in this tree, they can summon a blood golem, which will help the Hexxing heal and acts as a bit of a tank, a little bit of extra support for the Hexxing and the rest of the party. So that's my quick overview of the Hexxing archetype. You can feel free to ask more in the comments down below, and feel free to like and subscribe, and join me for the next video.